Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Free Up Friday. Friday, where you get to talk about everything and anything. If you want to join the conversation, you, of course, can just click that link in the chat section and make sure you put your name there so we know who you are. I'm trying not to do anything too crazy. Just come on and let's talk sports. Tonight, we got Shaq, we got Moy. And as you can see from the heading, we are here to talk about LeBron James. That's one of the things that's on the top of the list. We're going to talk about the big man himself and his GOAT potential. So if you want to be a part of this conversation, jump on in. Let's talk. Let's talk on Free Up Friday. How are you guys doing this wonderful Friday evening?
Good.
Yeah, man, I'm good.
Awesome.
What the
Good.
vibes?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to just wrap my mind around what I just heard there, man. So like apparently some predictions were made for the upcoming NBA season as to the likelihood of who's going to win the MVP. So there's a big talk about that.
Mm,
And LeBron James was number seven. He was number seven on the list, and there were a couple people before him. If I can remember all
that's
over before him,
interesting.
I think it was
Wow.
Durant was number one. Then I think it was Giannis. Then it was Steph is in there. Harden is in there.
Okay.
Luca is in there, and I'm missing somebody else. Somebody number six. Uh,
Embiid.
Embiid is in there. There we go. All right, those are the six people that are ahead of LeBron as possible people to win the MVP. What do you guys think about that? I mean, that make any sense to any of you?
Well, what I will say is that
Mhm.
if Lakers should do well, I know LeBron has to have an MVP type year.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't put him down at seven because I know they have high expectations.
yeah,
So
yeah.
seven for LeBron is a bit off for me. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't think I can argue with it that much.
Yeah. What were you, Moy? Seven is a good number.
I no, I don't think so. Going to the kind of caliber of player that LeBron is, you would tend to argue why is he so low because he's that type of player to always try and put up these numbers and have an MVP caliber type season. And if you're looking at the other super team that is there, I think he just listed two players from the next team in that top seven that you call Harden and
Yeah,
Durant,
two.
and it's
Harden and Durant. Yeah.
yeah, and it's kind of yeah, and you wonder even if the Lakers team, why you don't even see AD and LeBron in that list too in that top seven.
True. You make a good point there, Moy, because I mean, what I found interesting is that some would say that AD should be ahead of LeBron, and others would say, look, right, the mere fact that LeBron is mentioned in this list, that he's in the top 10 when he's the only one here in year 19 is absolutely amazing. Which points us back then to the title of this thing: is LeBron then the greatest athlete of all time? Because here is he in year 19, and when you compare him to other individuals who are at that point in their career at year 19. I think they made the point that Kobe in year 19 was considered to be the 40th most likely person to win the MVP. Year 19, Karl Malone was also not the main man and wasn't what he was, a shadow of himself. You have people like Durkinson was averaging 12 points a game. Shaq was doing nothing, but like LeBron is the main person on his team, averaging at his usual 20 something points per game, and is still a favorite to win the title. What does that say about LeBron? Is he the greatest of all time? I'm talking about all sports. All
I
sports.
mean, all sport
All.
that could be up for huge. It could be up for a huge debate because even self I heard that on one of those ESPN shows they were even self having a debate between Jordan and one of those, and I think it was Tom Brady, something
Mhm.
like that. Which one is the greatest in sports? You know, but I think LeBron would be up there for contention because of how well you have to give him props to how well he has kept himself over these number of seasons and to do it for 19 years and still going strong. it's a remarkable achievement. What I don't know. He's up there for contention for greatest in sports history.
Yeah, supposed to. What do you think, Shaq? Greatest of all time in everything?
No, no, not for me. Because I like, and I'm going with this because I keep saying that if you're gonna be I don't think they can have a greatest of all time in team sport.
Hmm.
So I would definitely go with someone who is dominating a solo sport. I'm looking at Usain Bolt because I think, and if you're
Mm.
looking if you're looking in terms of accolades, Usain Bolt dominated his sport. Yes, LeBron has been doing well in his sport, but then it's LeBron, then there's Durant, and then have other people winning. There's Steph Curry winning the MVP around that. Yes, he's the face of the league, but then when you think
Hmm.
about athletics, as long as Usain Bolt is in the race, you're just asking who's coming second. When
Okay, I
LeBron
hear.
goes to these other finals and stuff like that, then you're looking at that and you're saying, hey, he could possibly lose, but you're not looking at that when you see LeBron, Usain Bolt in a race.
Okay, Shaq, you make a good point here too. O'Neal agrees with you, saying both greatest of all time. And, and Suko
Yeah.
says, agreed, Shaq, dominant in a sport, not worldwide sports. Okay, well, to play devil's advocate, then I would get make the point that when you look at what LeBron has done and you consider his resume, then couldn't you make the claim that he probably has done more in an era in which he's had the most competition? When you consider the fact that a lot of the people who say LeBron is better than Jordan in that argument are trying to make the point that Jordan never had to play against Durant and Steph Curry and Kyrie and then all them other people. He didn't have all of that. Jordan had much lesser opposition. Even though I would disagree, that's one of the points they make. But when you look at the fact that LeBron is about to this season pass on the all-time scoring list, and when you look at him in terms of rebounds, assists, when you look at him in terms of steals, when you look at him in just in his overall game, it seems that he's in either the top 5 or the top 10 of every single basketball category, and he's done it the longest out of all of them. Plus, he has 3 titles to prove to it, and the MVPs. When you look at it, why you can say that he's the best in basketball. You can say that he's the best. You could make that claim, but when you look at the sport generally, and you think about complete player, who really has who you saying run next to say that they, at any point in time they had a chance of beating him? Is
But I would, in my response to that, would really be
mm-hmm,
I think that's a notch in the hat of Usain Bolt. He was that good that he
mm-hmm,
didn't have any competition. I mean, and that's not a knock on him.
mm-hmm,
He's in an era where just nobody could beat him, and I think he has the world record for a reason. That I think you go back 10 years, you put Usain Bolt in a race. You jump forward 10 years and you put Usain Bolt in a race, and he still wins. I think you'd still dominate every every category that you put him in. Yes,
mm-hmm.
that's not to say that LeBron isn't good. Because all what you mentioned there about LeBron and his accolades, they're true. They're true. He has dominated. He has dominated the basketball for the past it's 19 years. He came into
Yeah.
the league and his level has always risen, and he's still at the peak of his powers right now, heading into to year 19. So I'm not
Mm-hmm,
taking anything away from LeBron. I just think when you look at someone who
mm-hmm,
when you say dominant, there's not a thought in your mind this person could lose. I look at Tom Brady, and there've been some close Super Bowls. I
mm-hmm.
look at Serena Williams. Yes, she's had some close um grand slams too. But when you look at Usain Bolt, for me, man, in my lifetime, at least, yeah, whenever I see him on the line, game over. Who's coming second?
Yeah,
Let
man.
let me just add in this here because even if the same comparison, they ended up from the same show I was talking about. They end up classing the basketball and the NFL, the Super Bowl versus the playoff. that they were saying that it's almost like it's more difficult for an NFL player because they only get one shot at this rather than, like
Right.
A NBA player. They have like 7 games, a maximum of 7 games to try and win the championship. And
Good
we
point.
all love
Yeah.
this. We all love the thrill of a 7 game series is going down to the wire. And but at the NFL, you only have one shot at it, one shot to prove
Right.
that you really belong to the big stage. And I think that's where a you can see where a little comparison is there because I have one chance to prove it, so it's all or nothing. Whereas you probably can be like, okay, little complacency there in one of the games, but I know I have 3 more games to gather myself to win it all together, you know.
Mm,
But realistically, all these sports, I mean, you have so many persons, listed some of them, that
yeah.
have been dominant in their own individual sport.
Yeah, Jasuko says greatest of his era. Agreed. However, not the greatest in sports. Fairness to him, sports is a very wide range. I don't think there's a greatest of all time athlete. Okay, to your point, Shaq, and based on what Suka is saying here, and even with what Moy is saying, are we then saying then that the sports that have the individual preference, like tennis or running, then I'm automatically have an advantage over the team sports? Because then, yes, I understand that in team sports it's hard to give individual. I see your point about giving individual accolades, but at the same time, on an individual level, because we're talking about here what he's done individually. Let's negate the team. Him on the court, from the moment LeBron James came into the league, he's never been second best. And you're talking about from high school, you're talking about a teenager coming into the best league in the world, and for 19 years straight, this guy is at the top. What other athlete has done that? Not Usain Bolt, not Serena Williams, not even Tom
Yeah, but I
Brady.
mean,
They gradually got
this,
better and then got to a height and stayed there. LeBron has always been good from since high school to this day.
Usain Bolt has always been good as well. He's always been
Oh,
good. He's
so
always
so
touted to be great. He's
so he
always
win.
touted to be great, just like LeBron.
Okay.
Just
So you
like
saying
LeBron.
Usain Bolt
Remember when
was
Usain
winning?
Bolt?
He wasn't winning 100 meters though at
Yeah,
19 and 20.
I mean, he probably wasn't. He probably was he running at 19 and 20. But I mean,
And
any
whose
at
fault is
the
that?
point in which that's not fault of the athlete. I
Mhm.
mean, it's just a different sport. But
Ah,
when he came, I can remember. Remember
mhm.
clearly LeBron's first finals. He got swept. He got
Yeah, yeah.
swept from Spurs.
But that's not his fault. Look at his numbers. His numbers were always good. Look at somebody like even Tiger Woods here. O'Neill's talking about him. From the moment this guy came in, this guy's been on top. He's always done that. He has never not been good, except for that brief time when he had his mental issues and kind of drama in his life. He fell off. But LeBron has never had any of that. LeBron, LeBron has always individually been the best player on the planet. Like you couldn't even put Messi in there. You couldn't even put Cristiano in there.
But that's even questionable too because from the moment KD came in, KD
Mm,
was rivaling LeBron in his own
I would agree.
sport.
Yep.
There was an
I would agree
era,
with
there
you.
was an era, there was a time, there was a couple of years where Steph
Hmm.
Curry was basically the face of the league. Steph Curry, even with LeBron's greatness, LeBron has never won a unanimous MVP. In all those
Hmm.
years he won MVP, Steph Curry did that while LeBron was still
Hmm.
playing,
Okay,
defeating
Suka.
LeBron in many of those finals as well.
Yeah, because he had a bad team. Goes back to your point that let's remove the team from the factor and just focus on the individual. But Suka gives his opinion. He says athletics is a different sport. So I think 19 years as a runner in both cases is not a fair comparison. All right. O'Neal says LeBron wasn't winning rings at 19 to 20. No, he wasn't winning rings. But again, there were other
Taylor
people who
Swift.
far less than him who weren't winning rings either, who were winning rings. So I mean, LeBron Lewis still averaging 25, 13, and 10 every game, and he's still doing it 19 years later. Who's doing that? Who's doing that 19 years later? Okay, you would never think I'll
I
be a
think
LeBron advocate, but I am tonight. Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead, go ahead, Mike.
I think a fair way to assess this whole argument about the greatest player that is it's never from you can't really say from since they enter the whatever league or competition they have been
Yeah,
playing. I think
Super
it's once
Williams.
they hit that star point or not really star point, the talking point to be the next big
Peak.
thing. And
Hmm.
you see, looking at the likes of LeBron, they look at the likes of Ronaldo, these kind of players that kept their body well, continue going,
Yeah.
being consistent. From since
Hmm.
they hit the peak, you'll be like, these persons are going to be talked about in the next 5 to 10 years, and they constantly do it. Like you cannot talk about that particular sport and not mention their name. So I think once it's a case like that, it's contention.
Okay, let me throw something else at you guys. One other thing. What about longevity? We talked about how much LeBron has kept his body, and that's been probably the thing I could say that would give him that elevation over everybody else. That Serena, she had a kid, and yeah, she's played well, but she's not been the Serena of old since then. At some point, I guess even Usain Bolt realized I'm not as fast as I used to be. So why is it LeBron can
Stop it.
still jump as high as everybody else?
Stop it.
LeBron
Stop
can
it.
still jump as
Stop
high
it.
as everybody else, run as fast as everybody else, and shoot as well as everybody else. All the youngsters coming in still can't keep up with him, and he's in his 19th year. He's 30 something years old. Cristiano is up there. Even Messi has kept their body well, but everybody else seems to be going down. LeBron seems to be staying the same.
Right. And I would say yes, it has a part. Is he can okay? A player's or an athlete's injury history. Yes, it has somewhat to do with them, but then sometimes too you just have to be. I hate to use the word luck. Okay, I know you sometimes you just have to be blessed because you look at LeBron and no amount of therapy and after game care can could save you from a twisted ankle on the court,
Mm,
as we see that happened to him. I think it's 2 seasons ago. So
yeah.
he has been blessed in that department to not having to deal with injuries early in his career or late in his career while he was at his peak. There's niggling injuries, but he's never had a long-term injury. And I just think that he's been blessed. I don't think that's anything he has done to his body. Recovering, okay, you can spend all the money you want on that, but on game day, anything could happen. But I would
Okay.
not, I would not sit here and knock his longevity because to be at that level, and we're not talking about we're talking about LeBron. I think LeBron has been the number one pick for the All Star team in terms of vote getting for the
Yep.
past how much of years. So
Yeah.
he's always been peak top baller,
Hmm.
but I think he's been blessed to stay away from injuries, to have not gotten any injuries, major injuries in his career.
So you wouldn't attribute it to what he has done to himself, just more to what he was
To
born with.
science, no, no, I would
Okay.
not
All
attribute it
right.
to science at all.
All right, we got Suka here making a point here, saying longevity next to none. LeBron and CSM have done it at the very top level in their last years. Agreed. I would even give that to Cristiano. I would give that to Cristiano, no bias aside, over Messi because he's 2 years older. And those 2 years I think make a massive difference. When it comes to the age of your body is older. So to be able to do those things, I mean, and still jump as high, still run as fast, even keep up with the stamina in a 90-minute match. I think that makes a big difference when it comes to the sport. Go ahead, Moy.
Let me just because this person just came to mind, and he wouldn't really say longevity as he been in these top leagues for so long, but you would put him there. He came to mind because of in his prime he has won a lot of championships, and I'm talking bringing like Danny Alves to mind, because we have seen him part of a top team like
Huh?
Barcelona, and I
Mm,
think India in those kind of cases you can easily try and pick out. individual because you see they won a lot of championships. And even so if they're in a big team as per se, you would say certain individual talents do stand out. And you can
Yep.
say in this team, you could be like that Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Dani Alves, all those were a big part of that team playing the way it was. So I think
Yeah.
that's the way to put it out. And I think I would even put him up there. And recently he went back to an Olympic to help Brazil win.
Mm.
It's
I
The Danny
incredible.
Alves point is a
I think
great point and more because he's the most. I
yeah,
think he has the record for the most trophies ever won, and you have to be there. You have to be fit, and not just fit. There's youngsters coming up who are just as good as you. So you have to keep your place in a big team and consistently perform in order to get picked and be a part of a title winning side. And if Danny Alves has done that, it must say something about him that he was able to do it for that long and win that many trophies. Shaki gonna say something.
right. I think you should anyone should be applauded when they can be sought after by the biggest teams
Mm-hmm.
well over when they're going over that hill. Because Danny Alves has
Mm.
been playing big teams after big teams after big teams. And I think he
Well,
should be applauded for that.
he's a
He's
free
who you
agent now,
know.
Shaq. You need a right back. Maybe that can
No,
start with
I'm
that
good.
side if
Just
Arsenal
minute,
they
someone
could.
just bring it up. He has to boy.
Yeah, but you can learn off of Daddy Alves. You can have the two of them fight for the right back spot. That'd be nice.
No, I'm good
But
luck at that. I'm good luck at that.
Suka says, point on Josh why I prefer CS7 as my goat. There's a reason why, I like this fella now. He's a good fella. Anyway. But yeah. I mean, other players, like in football, we got people like Zlatan. I mean, Zlatan been doing it. When I
Oh,
was
Zlatan's
looking
gonna
at,
be 40
yeah,
this year.
I know, right? And then when I looked at the list of the top goal scorers in the 21st century, it's crazy the people up there that are still scoring goals. You got the Cavani's, you got Suarez, you got Lewandowski, you got Zlatan, Messi, CR7. They're all still doing the business and sought after by biggest thing. Wow, Neil allowed to CS7 over boy. See, Shaq was trying to convince me it was Messi the other day, saying, "Yeah, he's a goat. But Messi's the Ram goat." There we go.
Messi,
Don't
I'm
get me
good. That's what I'm listening. Now I'm the unreal boy.
Ram,
wrong.
Ram goes in
Oh
all
man.
caps.
All right, that should
Right.
be
That's
that
that's
should be a
that boy.
discussion. Okay, well, yeah, I'm trying to get biblical on me now. Anyway, all right. So either way, um, these guys, man. I mean, what goes through your mind? Because I mean, I think of myself, I know fans you may think I'm 29, but I'm not. I'm much older than that, and no more look older than me, But either way, the fact of the matter is that when I think about how I feel, when I step on a field, I don't feel, I'm over 30 by the way, I feel like I'm 20 something. When I'm running up and down, my mind's not saying that you're in your 30s. I'm wondering, is age really, guys, all in your mind? And what,
Yeah.
or is in your
Yeah.
mind?
Yes. Look, Josh, I
Because,
think once you condition yourself, bro, once you condition yourself, once you pay attention to your body, you eat right, you train, I think you can do well. Age is nothing but a number. I've
mm,
seen people younger than who I am, and they can't
uh-huh.
do half of the thing that I can do still on a football field.
Sucre says here, Shaq look the oldest of our lot, and then you come in,
Maybe I am.
Shaq look
And
40.
maybe I'm 50. Maybe I'm 50 only.
Okay, 50 can't push it. Okay, we have some more gray here if you're 50. Unless you do like a politician and dye your hair black, but no, not that. But either way though, yeah, I do think that is just a number, and you if you take care of your body, then you should be able to do that. And LeBron certainly has done that. Zlatan Cristiano has done that. I mean, if you see the pictures of Cristiano 20 years ago, I mean, man, don't look any different. In his face, probably you can see the age, but the rest of his body, you see how he has kept himself. Definitely, Let me see here. On Nisha, it says Shaq is 29, and
The
Josh
man
is
got that
30.
passport.
I'm actually older than that, Odi. I'm actually older than that. Good try, though. But I appreciate
Mm.
the compliment, though. But either way, let us know what you think Moy is. You know, fans, how old do you think Moy is? You know, I've been joking around. Last show he was 35. The show before that he was 30. Maybe y'all can go a little older
But 40
and
this
see where
time.
he is before this time. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, in sports though, you know, I gotta give big ups though to people. The other day they were talking about Djokovic, man, and how he has transcended the game, you know, and how well he looked, you know, in terms of his ability to get things done, you know, and the grand slams that he has won next to Federer and
Yeah.
Nadal, which has
Yeah.
been pretty amazing. The way he has just, and the 1 minute he didn't know who Djokovic was, and all of a sudden, boom, man, this guy just take it to the next level. But I'm gonna get to somebody in a second. We have O'Neal here saying, my age look techie
Techie.
or sketchy. Okay, techie. Between 25 to 35. Wow. Okay. All right. He continues. More them look old, but back city, if you're older, you wouldn't back city, so I feel 26. Good point. Very good point, O'Neal. Um, let's talk about the
That's in-depth analysis.
um, when you're speaking about age, when I talk about LeBron, one of the things that comes to my mind is Steph Curry. I think about him because of the fact that I remember the videos of LeBron in the NBA going to watch Steph Curry in college play. Back then, college
Right.
people knew about Steph Curry because he was always generally a good shooter. But when you actually check his scouting report, he was never actually expected to be what he is now. And then actually,
Mm.
guys, if you go back go back 6 years from now, right, you would say that okay, Steph Curry is a good player. How do you go from being good player to greatest shooter of all time in that short space of time? Just think about that. He wasn't even considered that going back those years, but then now he is. What what happened? I mean,
I
I know
mean,
y'all can answer. Fan, let me know what y'all think. Go ahead.
I mean, certain things have an effect on you to help you to be a better person, a better player in these type of games. Because I think there was a point they were questioning the way he shoot. He was shooting also, so I think he ended up and changed that. I mean, you people questioning your decisions about certain things and this, but there's always certain people try to be better than what people think you are and try to prove other persons wrong. And then there's this other part where it's just pure dedication. You love the game,
Yeah,
you're trying to be pure dedicated to it. I mean, his father was a very good basketball player, and he
yeah, yeah.
took some
Good
of that
shoot.
step from him.
Yeah.
I think that just helped motivated him to become who he was today, who he is today.
Yeah, that's a good point. Could be just that. Shaq,
I,
what you think?
I think that, like I was saying earlier with LeBron and his injuries, you have to be blessed. And when you look at Steph Curry's path to the NBA, had to be, a lot of things went right for him. Though you can look back now and say, you know what, this was probably a good move because what the name? I think it was Timberwolves could have drafted him before Golden State did. And I
Mm,
think that you look now, considering he was able to play under Mark Jackson, and I really don't think Mark Jackson gets the credit he deserves for who Golden
stats.
State is today. So I
Stats.
think that when you look at that, Clay coming in to play alongside him, you have
Mm,
someone with a good day of Draymond Green, but with the skill of a point guard, and they all selfless in their approach. I think that a lot of things like that, notwithstanding what Moy said, because everything what Moy said is purely accurate, but
hmm
coupled with the dedication, and plus I think the right situation. Because we can look at other players. Kyrie going to Celtics, was that a good fit?
Good
You
point.
look
Yeah.
at that, and these things make or break your career. You look at the people. Look at Greg Oden. Greg
Yeah.
Oden, he was picked before Kevin Durant. And you look at there's so many
Stats.
stories like that. And I just think that coupled with the dedication, coupled with your will to win, plus a lot of things going right for you in terms of organizations and stuff like that who you play with. I think all that couples, you put all that together and you have a perfect scenario. for Steph Curry.
Yeah,
True.
I was looking at him and I've said to myself, wow. I mean, it gives me hope, and anybody out there that feels like their life is at a standstill right now, and you feel like, if man, I'm not really going in the direction I would like to go in terms of my life and my career. And there is this guy, yeah, he's making money, yeah, he's living life good, yeah, he's playing well on a decent team, and all of a sudden, then in the space of a short space of time, just a few years, he goes from being a good shooter to being the greatest shooter of all time and winning 3 titles. You know, you have plenty of time to do what you need to do in life. Just keep pressing, keep working hard, keep doing what you need to do, and eventually everything will fall for you. Joe, what do you think? What attributed to the fact that, Steph Curry became what he is when most people didn't think he probably would end up there?
I mean, the main thing would be hard work. I mean, if you really follow Steph Curry and you listen to his stories and so on,
Mm-hmm.
he's dedicated to it. He's really dedicated. And then, I mean, we know who his father is, and his father was a big driving force behind him as well. And Steph Curry is one of those players who, in a sense, like from listening to different things, different documentaries and different interviews and so on, he's always been that small kid who has the desire to show that I can outplay these bigger guys. I can keep up with them. Actually, I can even be better than them.
Yeah,
So the drive is just the thing. He didn't give up. He kept working. He kept going at it. And I mean, to perfect thing to put is basically Steph has that Mamba mentality, pretty much.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Speaking of that, Kobe, rest in peace. Him, his career, what he's done, what he's achieved. Oftentimes, he was compared to Jordan because he patterned his game after him. There was so many aspects of Kobe's game that you could say, okay, that was a Jordan move. But then now, when you look now at LeBron and you consider what's happening right now, in terms of his legacy, would it be a scenario where the next generation are seeing LeBron as their Jordan? And so now someone rising up now, the next generation of ballers, the new people coming, maybe the Zions, maybe the Lucas, maybe who else? I don't know. Maybe the Trey Youngs, whoever's coming up, you know, has LeBron set that standard that, hey, look, right, in order for you to be considered in the GOAT status, this is what you have to do. You have to then be all time in the NBA. You have to be an all round player. You have to have at least 3 titles and be the main man and top scorer in all of them. This is, and of course, no scandals, no issues. Get involved in politics. Have a good family. This is the blueprint of what it means to be the GOAT. We all understand that.
I
Anybody?
mean, um, it is, yeah, it is based on the fact that, like, for my generation, well, at least for me,
Mm-hmm.
Kobe was my Jordan. I knew who Michael Jordan was. I missed a part of Michael Jordan's playing career. But so for me, I mean, you research, you look back, and you see everything, and you're like, okay, this is the great Michael Jordan. But for me, growing up, the two best basketball players out there were Kobe Bryant and Allen Iverson. For me, like for me those were the goats. For me, Allen Iverson was, in a sense, was like a replica of Kobe, minus in terms of the drive and the mentality,
The
minus
height.
the, yeah, minus the discipline.
Mm.
You understand? So it's for even the younger generation now, a lot of them would have missed, Afro Kobe and that kind of thing. So then for you to go and tell them, oh, Kobe is the greatest of all time, for them, you're just talking, they've seen a few clips. Yeah, this Kobe guy was good, but they
Mhm.
watch LeBron for the entire time. So for them, LeBron is the GOAT. And that will always change going forward and going forward and going forward.
Yeah, definitely. So
I
LeBron,
I
go ahead,
can
more. Sorry.
Okay, I was going to say I could talk from experience to what Joe has said, and I think that it would help because what you watch more is what you tend to gravitate to more, because we know about all these great players, you know about these Wilt Chamberlain, the Magic Johnson, all these type of players, but I don't think that watching past videos of them on YouTube or whatever, it helps you to be attached more to them. Because I would say for me, I would feel mostly attached to, like the LeBrons and the Kevin Durant now. But I've seen Kobe Bryant play a little, but for most of my days I've seen, watch LeBron in his era doing his thing more than what I have seen of Kobe and these other players. So I think it's just gravitate to what you're watching in real life time rather than somebody saying you, hey, you need to watch this video of Kobe that, they think was the greatest player of all time in their generation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I have a
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
question for y'all,
exactly what it
man.
is.
I know in our chat earlier today we were talking about the whole what is an assist from what is not. That came up, in a previous show as well too. And then in my mind, I'm just there thinking about it on my own, and I had a question. Let's just say hypothetically, you have a striker, and he scores 50 goals in a calendar year. 50
Mhm.
goals in a calendar year, and all the goals were tap-ins from 2 yards. Tap-ins from 2 yards, and he does that consistently for 3 years straight. Is he a great striker?
Yeah, he is. Because at the end of the day, as a striker, you have one job. It doesn't matter how the goal goes into how the ball goes into the back of the net. You have one job, and you will be judged based off of how well you
Hmm.
do that job. And your job is to put the ball into the back of the net. You could have kicked all of them right to the brim of the goal line and push them in. At the end of the day, you were the one who scored it. And for you to score 50 tap-ins in 3 consecutive seasons, it shows that your positioning is top tier.
Yeah.
So then
So
you're gonna
yeah,
put that
of course.
person. You're gonna put that person on level with Lewandowski and Cristiano and Messi and all these other persons. When you look at the numbers are the same.
Mhm.
But then
Yeah, I would. I
you,
would.
for just the
Because
one skill of being able to position yourself and tap in the goal, that one
yeah, but then
skill.
but if we're talking about goal, bearing in mind that you spoke about a striker, right? You spoke
Yes.
about a striker and the fact that he's scoring this amount of goals consecutively every season. All of them are tap-ins. Okay, that's that. It
Two
doesn't
yards
matter.
now.
But yeah, but it
No,
doesn't matter
no
at the end of
curlers,
the
no
day.
curlers, no step overs, no brilliant beating nobody, no last minute goals. All of them are 2 yard goals, 50 goals a season. And he's on level with Cristiano, Messi, Lewandowski, and Zlatan.
Again, if we're talking, it all depends on how what you're talking about. If you're
Mm,
talking about a striker, his job is to score the goal. It doesn't matter what way he does it. It doesn't matter how it's done, as long
uh-huh.
as he scores the goal. Because guess what? Now, if you take on 10 man, and if you beat whole field and go up there, drop the keeper on your bottom and put the ball in the net, and he score the tap in, the two I get one goal added to our resume.
But
That's it.
nobody's gonna ever respect you as a striker and say that you could even be put into the upper echelon of great strikers if you score a bunch of 2 yard goals. They will say like, oh
I
yeah,
would
you do the job, but nobody gonna respect you. Players won't respect you either
I
because they
would
figure
I
that
would
what you don't have an all around game. You have one move. You have one move. You don't have
But
nothing else.
that's why you're a striker.
yeah.
That's why you're a
Good
striker,
one.
because your job is to go put the ball in the goal. As long as listen, if I get a striker that guarantees me 25 goals a season, all 2 yard tap-ins, and I get a striker who guarantees me flair and all the pizzazz, and he give me 15 goals a season, you give me that 2 yard tapping hero. 100%.
Okay. Good
I
one.
mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from, because if you're looking at some of these other players, we can put Sterling into this perspective. Most of Sterling goals were legit tapping from the ball, whipping in from there, and he's just right there at the right time. And I think why I would say you would class these players because of the amount of the goals they score from either a tapping, because we refer to these players as a poacher. They have good positioning to get into these type of spots. And as a striker job is to finish, as what Joe said. And even looking at these players, we're still looking at these tall players like Peter Crouch. Everybody expect from, hey, you just get in the box and try to win all the headers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And we're looking at Fellaini for midfield. Each time he plays midfield, any set piece, you go up there and win these headers because you're tall. You know.
But they never get the respect that they deserve for what they can do in their niche. The reason why I bring that up, and with Joe come back, because this is to the point he made earlier on, is because Giannis does not get the respect he deserves for the title he just won, or as a player for scoring 30 something points a game, because what? He can't shoot. And let's be honest, he still can't shoot. He can't shoot the basketball. He have one move. Post you down there. He's basically a skinnier version of Shaq. Let's just be complete. No, not the Shaq on the screen, but Shaquille O'Neal, right? He's basically a skinnier version of that player, and he has one move, and we all know it. But yet, what? Nobody wants to give him the credit he deserves for who he is because he can't shoot. But then, shouldn't be honest, guys? Shouldn't an NBA player be able to shoot the basketball? Shouldn't he?
I
At
mean,
some point, shouldn't I mean, I'm trying to figure that
He
out.
sh- he should be able to at least he should be able to develop his game. I think especially when you see struggles from the free throw line, I don't think an NBA player should have that kind of struggle. You must be able to shoot to have a mid-range game at least. So in that department, yeah, but then I still think he has to be praised for what he can do to have won MVPs without the jump shot. I think to be able to win an MVP without a jump shot, to win an NBA final without a jump shot, should be commended.
So that means then, based on that, and based on what Joe is saying, that when Giannis finishes his career and he doesn't change his game, he keeps his game as is, and he wins titles, he wins MVPs, he should be considered one of the greatest players of all time. Even
Yeah.
though
I
he
would I
never,
wouldn't say that.
he
No.
he
I wouldn't say
never
Hey,
that. I
no,
wouldn't say
he
that.
never learned to shoot. He never learned to shoot. So we could put you in that
I,
category there.
right,
yes, but
right, Josh. You know why I
here's the
say to
quick
that?
fix for that. Here's the quick fix for that. Let me tell you why he should be considered a GOAT. Because there is a lot of other players out there who do not have a jump shot, who have not accomplished half of what Giannis has accomplished. So the fact, it's just like Messi. You have a lot of players out there who you're not left-footed. He could come, he could do the world, but he could hook you up on your left foot. Messi, 1 foot, you know where he could go, but you still can't stop it. It's the same thing with Giannis. You know what he is going to do. You know when he come out, then he knock you like a body faint, and even if you jump, can you not throw him up? You know, no jump shot, right? But he's still putting up big numbers. He's both offensively and defensively. He won a title. He won MVP. He won defensive player of the year. And if he continues to do this, whether or not he works on his jump shot and gets a jump shot eventually, whether he does or not, if he continues to do this and he continues to accomplish what he has accomplished and continues to go up along this path, he's considered a GOAT. He is. Shaquille O'Neal is
Uh,
considered one of the greatest big men of all time. Shaq can't shoot free throw to save his life. Hacker Shaq, one of the most famous things
right.
out there in the world.
This is the point that I'm going to make, Joe. Because when you look at Shaq now, people keep saying, what if he made X amount of free throws? He would have this amount of more titles. And this is what I'm going to say. When you look, when Giannis' career is over, you're going to say, "Oh, if Giannis me only this." But then when we talk about GOAT status, this is my contention.
That's
We
what I'm
talk
talking
about
about.
GOAT status. You're not talking about no deficiency in the game. All the
There you
players
go.
you can talk about in the GOAT status. What
Hmm.
deficiency you're looking at? You talk about Jordan.
Very
You talk
true.
about Kobe. You talk about LeBron. When you look at
Messi,
these players, you're like,
Cristiano.
yo, right. If you deal with all these other sports, you look at them
Hmm.
and their game transcends everything else that's going on. There's not a weakness in their game because people would say, "Oh, Messi can't score a header." But why you man even score a header when the man still can score as much goal as people who will score a header?
But
And he
exactly,
scored,
efficiency. But is
but he
exactly
efficient
your
has
then
point. Exactly your
he
point
has scored headers
with
though. Messi has.
with Giannis? Because that's
Right.
exactly your point
efficiency.
with
You
Giannis.
you
Why I would
literally just
disagree.
prove. Prove the point.
Yeah, because
No,
if Giannis, if we're looking at this, if let's say, Giannis managed to win at least four more titles in his career, NBA titles in his career,
Mhm.
he's not a great shooter.
wait,
Continue to win
sorry there, Mark.
MVP.
Which is a stretch. Which is a stretch if you don't develop a jump shot. Well, go ahead.
But I'm saying we're questioning Giannis
So
not
true.
having a jump shot. And we have players in the league that have both jump shot, can get to the rim, dribble more than anybody else like crazy, and some of them
Mhm.
still not have championships, still are complete
Because it's a
players.
team sport.
You cannot look down
There
on
you go, Shaq.
Giannis. You cannot look down on Giannis. It's
Yeah.
not his fault that the players still can't stop him. He's dominant. He doesn't If he doesn't get it, he's dominant. That's
Yeah,
his
but
type of
Yo,
play
yo,
style.
Mar,
but
yeah,
but
I respect that.
but
I respect that. But I just, Mar, Mar and Joe, are you saying that Giannis? You're thinking that Giannis could be a goat in years to come with this skill set, and nothing changes?
can't be. He
I
can't
think
be in the
so.
conversation. He can't be in the conversation simply because of the fact that he does not have all aspects of that game, where he needs people to bail him out in other areas. And that's let's okay. I'm
Can't
gonna say
close
it. I
either.
said it last time, right? You said it for me, Shaq. If Chris Middleton was not in that series, then Giannis wouldn't even made it to that round. He wouldn't have made it to that
Yeah, but
round.
that's why you
Even
have teammates.
I
If Jordan
Yeah,
know,
didn't
he
have
never
I
made
something
the
in
know.
him,
shot.
Jordan
LeBron wouldn't
wouldn't
be
have won a
there.
lot of his championships. If
If
No,
Kobe
Shaq
but
didn't
Bryant
help
didn't have Shaq
Kobe,
and Mark Gasol, they're saying that
no.
a lot of
But
he would have
it's
won maybe two less championships. It's the
no.
same thing.
I don't think it's the same thing. It's the same thing in the sense that everybody needs help. That I agree with you. That I agree. Everybody need help. But I don't think it's the same thing when you consider the skill set. There's a reason why Harden made the comment that the only thing you can do is dribble to the goal, dribble to the rim, and dunk. There's a reason because all players know that what there was a whole time. Have we forgotten that in the last season when Giannis win, right? Teams just decided to step off of him, crowd the paint, and make him shoot. And Middleton had to bail him out over and over and over again. It's
And
just
he
so I'm
and,
saying.
and he adapted to that. We have to, if you're
No,
giving
but
criticism, you have to give fair criticism because he
yeah,
adapted to it. And okay, he realized them a crowd the paint and
adaptation,
whatnot.
but adaptation, bro, still was not enough. When you look at LeBron, he has it all. LeBron can play all five positions. LeBron is literally unstoppable in every set. Even KD has gotten better in his defense when he couldn't play on defense for a
And
while, which is why I say
LeBron wasn't a good shooter either.
he came
But
into the league.
but
So I'm
okay,
the point
and
where
that is something
Giannis
that was
has
developed
become
at a
good.
later. Hey, y'all forgot how old LeBron is, and y'all
Right.
forgot how
But,
long
But
LeBron
this is
has
what
been
we're
in the game.
saying.
this is what we're
Right.
saying.
This is what we're saying.
He
So that's
cannot
why I asked with this skill set.
this skill set. He can't be a goat down the road without a jump shot.
He
He
can.
can't.
Let me tell you
I
why.
disagree.
Okay, let me tell you why I say he can be. If Giannis can get to LeBron's age and still play this go to the rim physical bully ball, right? At
Yeah.
that age and still do it, that is a goat.
No.
Because
He's a Shaq.
Okay.
He's a
LeBron
Shaq.
became why you think LeBron became more of a facilitator and worked on his jump shot? Because he get old. He cannot deal with the same wear and tear that he could deal with 5-10 years ago.
No, that's not the reason. It's because he
Joe,
is
That is a
Joe,
part
goat.
of it. That is a
Because
big
he's a
part of it.
goat.
LeBron has
Even
No,
LeBron,
always
as good as
been a
LeBron is,
facilitator. LeBron has always been a facilitator.
Giannis will
LeBron has
end up.
always been a facilitator, but LeBron is way better of a facilitator in his later years than he was before. LeBron's
True,
jump shot has
obviously.
gotten way better
That came
than
with
it has before.
experience and know-how. But I'm saying that Giannis is going to end up being a Shaquille O'Neal, a really, really
And
great
Josh,
player that never hit GOAT status.
right,
I
Joe,
mean,
you said
sorry,
Giannis
Shaq
is
the hit
like
goat
Shaq.
status?
And
But
when you
Shaq is
said,
one of the
hold
greatest
on,
centers in the
You
no,
game.
consider
no, this
Shaq
is
the
what I'm
goat?
saying.
He's not.
Shaq is the goat of the big men. Shaq is the
The big
goat of the
man.
big men, but Shaq is not
There's
goat.
no
Come on,
way.
Joe.
Yeah,
You
but
won't
he a
even
big
say
man.
that, bro.
But he a
He's
big man.
not.
Shaq is
Joe, we're
considered
talking about
the
greatest
greatest
of
big
all
man
time.
of all
That's
time.
But
right, but
but
then, but
wait,
then, but then, when you,
don't
right, if you have
don't
to
you
qualify it, sorry, there, Moy. If you have to qualify it, Joe, I think you're
Uh-huh.
saying that he's not the GOAT. He's the greatest of
Mhm.
all time. We're not looking at the greatest big man of all time.
No.
We're just looking at the
But
greatest
don't
of
y'all
all
think
time.
there's a disadvantage with these big men because we have seen big men dominating the NBA and not because they only live in the paint, they're not getting all
And
that
flashy.
yeah, what's the word? Yeah, they're not getting all that recognition because eras change. We're in an era of
Hmm.
now big men shooting, so that's what everybody loves to see now.
That too.
Ra-
That too.
rather than you
True.
see the
Good
Shaq
point.
dominating the paint, your Wilt Chamberlain, all them mans with their sky hook and all those kind of things, you know. So I understand what y'all saying. Don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah.
still think that if Giannis continue to do it and still be dominant for a long time, he can
Hmm.
get the GOAT status. But
So the
all
question then is
around,
more. So the question to your point, stay where you are. This is to you. What then would qualify a person to be in the gold status? That's the thing. What is the criteria for gold status? Because it can't be rings, because then Robert Horry will be gold status. Okay, that can't be that. All right, and it can't either be the fact that you score 30 plus points a game. Is it for how long you do it? Is it your skill set? What is considered gold status? Because then you go back to football, you have the same problem. Why is it that we haven't even talked about defenders in the GOAT status category? We just talk about Cristiano and Messi. And before them, who's Pele and Maradona, still attackers. So then now is the same thing for basketball, that because big men generally can't shoot, a big man can never be in the GOAT status?
and the point that you made, it goes back to what I said earlier that I think there's a disadvantage to certain position that you play in these kind of
Maybe.
sports because
Yes.
we know defenders that have been magnificent, but football aspect, everyone loves to see a goal rather than an amazing goal line clearance. You're going to celebrate it, but at the end of the day, goals win game and all these kind of things. But it's not wrong. He does need to be a more dominant player in the NBA to take off. He's going to need a jump shot because everybody knows if Giannis gets a solid jump shot, it's over for the NBA. You
It's
know,
over.
it's over for the NBA because we already know he's dominant in the paint. You can't stop him. What happens if he develop a mid range? I just think it would help, but you know,
It would
I
definitely
really
help.
don't know. It's sketchy
Boy,
because
boy,
you
come
can
home. Come
I
home.
don't
Nobody with
Boy,
Joe.
not
boy,
Nobody
don't,
Joe
really,
with
boy,
not
Q.
really.
listen.
I'm not saying it's
Nobody
coming
Stick to
over
Joe
on
what
with
him.
you
Q.
believe in, bro.
I'm
Nobody
still
Stick to what
Joe
you
with
sticking to my
Q.
I'm
sharp.
still sticking to my
Stick to
point.
what you believe in.
I'm still sticking to my point. Not because he doesn't
Yes.
have a jump shot.
Yes.
If he's still dominant for these number of years, longevity, winning these rings like LeBron, and you're doing what LeBron does, I think he has to be in there. I really think so.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So
All right.
I think the question we're asking, I think the question we're asking is if LeBron, if we fast forward, how many more years now? Let's give Giannis 10 more years. Ten
Mm-hmm.
more
Mm-hmm.
years being this same Giannis. So we have what 10 years from now is 2031,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
2031. We put Giannis in 2031 and we still have this same Giannis. Are you telling me that this same Giannis, as we know him now, could be a goat?
But no, but you
Uh,
see, I find that the question is being changed up in a sense
Mm-hmm.
because based on what we spoke about just now, if
Oh,
Yanis continues to play the way he is playing and he is successful doing it, is would he then be considered a goat? And I said yes.
I,
The
and
way
I,
you crafted that just now, it sounds a tad bit different.
You
So
want
again,
want
you see what I'm
a
saying?
Memphis strategy.
crafted.
Something like
They
Because
have a
that's what
crafted.
that's
Posse
what we're
chat.
talking about just now. If Yanis, listen, I am not saying that he shouldn't develop a jump shot because I think it's like Shaq said. I think it's ridiculous for you to be an NBA player and not have a jump shot. It's just
Yeah.
like I find it ridiculous for you to be an NBA player. You're at the pinnacle. You're up there, the top, the best of the best, and you can't shoot on
Mm-hmm.
free throw. I have always found those things to be ridiculous. But if Yanis can
Right.
continue He never develops a jump shot, but he still goes out there and accomplishes numbers like LeBron and Kobe and so on. There is no way that nobody can tell me that he's not supposed to be considered a GOAT, because despite not having those things, which means it's even harder for him, which is why he gets the additional respect. Because to go out there and accomplish the same numbers as them, man, go out there and get the same amount of rings or anything as them, man, without the extra flair and jump shot and being that great.
He should be in the conversation.
Yeah,
he should be in the conversation.
Facilitator like them and still accomplish what they accomplish. For me, that makes you a GOAT.
You know, and there's a question in the comments there too. I'm being reminded, but to your point, you know, came to my mind. Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan came to my mind because he's not very flashy. He's very, very boring. But he's won the same amount of rings. He's won the same amount of rings as Kobe. He has more rings than LeBron. And he was the main man in all of them. Even the early years. And he's not considered in the GOAT status.
I wouldn't say that.
Problem?
I wouldn't say Tim Duncan is not considered as a GOAT. Because if you go and have a...
Who's talking about that?
Hold on. We're talking as fans. We're talking as fans, right? We're talking as fans, you know, saying...
Okay, I bring the man up now.
Yes, but I'm saying we're talking as fans. Maybe to us, we might say we don't consider him a GOAT because you don't hear, you know, crazy talk out there about Tim Duncan. But if you go to big time NBA players and so on, and you ask them to list their GOATs, if you tell them list top 10 GOATs, majority of them name Tim Duncan.
Sorry to cut you off, bro. I've got a short question. Joe,
what is that be fun there?
What is a question, bro? What is a GOAT for you? What is a GOAT?
Would list majority of
them. And a one GOAT?
Tim Duncan.
No. And a one GOAT, bro. And then you have.
No, it's different. You have a group of players that you would classify as GOATs, greatest players of all time. If we're talking about the one undisputed GOAT, that's a tough one. It's three people: LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan.
Based on what? No. Hold on. But why? That's the question. That's the question everybody keep talking about. Is that why we won't put... Somebody even put Kobe in there. Why you can't put Kobe in there and not put Tim Duncan when they have accomplished the same things. MVP awards, finals MVPs, titles, and points per game. You cannot put Kobe in there and take out Tim Duncan and longevity. Based on tell me one thing that Kobe has that Tim Duncan has not done.
No, because then if you're going to be talking about GOAT status now, we're not just talking. Look on the amount of man out that may be like a benchman that have the world ring. That doesn't make
but Tim Duncan is not in that category, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Tim Duncan has the points.
I'm just using that as an example. Kobe Bryant is more known as the man who gets up, puts the Los Angeles Lakers team on his back, and carries them. Tim Duncan.
No, try to, bro. Don't try. What you about to say right now is blasphemy.
As consistent as Kobe.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Dro. You can't tell me that Tim Duncan didn't win all those rings. He alone is the reason why Spurs won those rings. Me tell you, there is no way for Spurs.
No.
Listen to me. He had Ginobili, he had Tony Parker, he had David Robinson. But I am telling you, there is no way Spurs could have won those titles without him. I'm telling you, they can't win without him. And the same thing for Kobe. Kobe could not win those things without Shaq. No, but saying that but Joe, I'm nullifying your point. The point you're making for Kobe, right, is the same thing you can make for Tim Duncan. Kobe would not have won those rings without Paul Gasol and Shaquille O'Neal. How do you win those rings? You couldn't do it.
I mean, bro.
Oh my goodness! Literally, you had Andrew Bynum and couldn't do it. You had Andrew Bynum. But then you bring Paul Gasol and then you win it.
By number somebody.
Shaq is in his prime.
By number somebody.
That is
By
my
number
point.
somebody. Andrew by number somebody.
Exact. This is my point, bro. This is my
nonsense,
point, bro. No, listen to my point, bro.
You put it
Bro,
Andrew Bynum and Mark
that's my point. You're making my point. No, but Joe, you're making my point. That's my point. My point is that what you can't. You just told me that Kobe win his rings, but yet, Tim Duncan wasn't the main man.
No. You hit.
No. That's your technical one. That's your technical one, bro. Oh Lord of mercy. Oh my goodness. That's your technical one, bro. You just tell me. That he wasn't the main man.
That's how I'm
realistically, just think about it. Yes, Tim Duncan
Kobe is not in this discussion. Vital?
He was vital to the team, of course.
He was vital as Kobe was vital. He was vital as Kobe was vital. If Tim Duncan had a Kobe personality, you wouldn't even be bringing this up. You would have added Tim Duncan to that. Tim Duncan is a quiet individual under a coach that's no nonsense. Kobe is Kobe. His personality made him with the media who he is. Tim Duncan did everything Kobe did, but yet you minimized Tim Duncan.
You cannot just say Tim Duncan did everything Kobe did.
Oh my goodness.
You can say he has numbers. You can say he has rings, and you want to talk about...
Individual wants to. Finals MVPs.
Bro, you just don't understand, boss. Listen, you take a Tim Duncan. You take a Tim Duncan because, like you're saying, the whole without Tim Duncan they don't win any of those rings. But you forgot that man like Ginobili and Tony Parker were balling. You forgot that Kawhi Leonard won Defensive Player of the Year.
And you forgot the fact that Shaquille O'Neal averaged 30-something points in every single season Kobe won those rings. You forgot that.
No,
you forgot the fact that they had a star-studded team around them that won those Lakers rings. Somewhere in your mind, Kobe Bryant by himself
for the
team. You want me to call names? You want me to call the Lakers names?
You
want me to call the names of the Laker people you had? This season when you got swept by Detroit, you had Karl Malone, you had Gary Payton at the end of their careers, but you made the finals in the West, which has always been harder than the East. Not only that, too.
And why did they get to the finals? Why did they get to the finals? Please tell me.
Because of Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. That's why. But I'm making the same point with Tim Duncan. You talking about like Ginobili carried Tim Duncan for 4 or 5 seasons. Ginobili had 2 good seasons. 2 good seasons. Going on like if Tim Duncan wasn't the main man the whole time.
No, but then without Ginobili balling, those things would not happen. That's what I'm showing you. Ginobili was balling.
On that ring, that last ring
was balling. Tony Parker was a nuisance to every team in the NBA.
But Kobe had the same people too.
No, here's the difference between. Let me show you it this way. Let me show you it this way. No, let me show you it this way. We see Josh. You're not listening to understand. You're listening to respond. Because I said to you that for me, and if you go to a lot of the actual NBA players and you tell them to list their GOATs, their greatest players of all time, there is not many of them that would not call Tim Duncan's name. And
I don't disagree with you.
Duncan is a GOAT, even more so the fact that he's from our region.
Too many GOATs, bro. That's my problem. One GOAT you're supposed to have.
You cannot say one. For example, let's be
honest. You can't have all in GOAT.
We were talking about Giannis, right? We were talking about Giannis. And the question was, if he, whatever, and his numbers, and he continued to do so consistently without improving and getting a jump shot, if it would be right for him to be considered as one of the GOATs. That was the question.
No,
Yeah.
if he would be the GOAT.
But
We-
then keyword, one of the goats. Isn't it the same thing as to what I'm saying?
No, if he
Tim
would be,
No,
is
no.
one
I
of
was
the goats.
arguing if he would be the GOAT. If he could be talked about in the GOAT status.
But
Yes,
then
that's what we meant.
But
We
then
didn't
But,
get the
no, but you
whole.
see, it all comes down
you
to
listed the whole farm,
you
Joe.
said the
Tell your
It's
goats.
all
boy.
You said
McDonald.
one. You said one of the goats. That's what you said when you asked me
Yeah,
the question. When I came on, you asked me.
Jordan and LeBron. Jordan and LeBron are the people that are compared. They don't even bring in Kobe. You bring in Kobe because you have a Kobe bias. Most people, when they compare Jordan, they compare him to LeBron. Kobe had a great career,
Bro,
but
bro, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. You
he is
sound like a
not.
Laker hater. You sound like one Laker
And you
hater.
sound like a Laker lover.
Because
That's the problem.
to this
Let
day,
me-
you
let
still
me-
have a lot of people. If you go and ask them about who is the GOAT, regardless of how good LeBron has been, how consistent he's been, and what he's accomplished, they still only mention Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. A lot of people still don't even give LeBron the
I
respect.
don't know what you're listening
this
to, bro.
day,
But
to
more
this
people would
day.
say LeBron is more of a GOAT than Kobe. Most people, take a poll. Most people would say that LeBron is more of a GOAT than Kobe.
We should do it. We should put
You got
out
to
a poll.
comment, John.
Yeah, the basketball fan or not, you probably witnessed the following debate. Who is a better player, Kobe Bryant or LeBron James? Although they never played a single playoff game against one another.
Against each other. Facts.
LeBron is better than Kobe. Comparison is inevitable. Bottom line, while LeBron is much more of a team player than Kobe was and is more dominant and holds better stats, well, those are important things. Okay. Kobe was a more versatile. Oh, come on. Oh my. Okay. It's free on Friday. Kobe was more versatile and complete player. I don't. You and I are about Kobe too. Look, trust me, bro. I was a Kobe Bryant fanatic. I had a Kobe Bryant poster on my wall. Listen to me. I had a Kobe. I never once had a LeBron poster on my wall. I had a Kobe Bryant poster on my wall. I idolized that guy. I was more crushed than anybody else when the little drama came up with him that you know I'm talking about years ago with the Kobe Bryant guy. Right? I was more stressed than anybody else during that time. But I am telling you, you cannot tell me that Kobe was more versatile. That LeBron can play all 5 positions and score 30 points a game.
He can.
Kobe cannot play center. Kobe will try and he'll do his best, but he cannot do that. Assists, points, rebounds, steals.
Bro, as an all-round player, but you see that again, it all you're going to be using the stats a particular way to help to strengthen your argument. Because realistically, anybody that has a basketball, anybody that has a brain, if we're talking about all-round ability, LeBron is a much more versatile player than Kobe. And I am a Kobe Bryant fan. I'm a Laker fan. Kobe Bryant is my all-time favorite player. And that you don't have to ask that. You can see that. But again, if you go and you have the GOAT conversation, right? One of the questions oftentimes that's always asked. They start to compare of who is most clutch, who you can count on to take that big game shot. Then they draw the question. If you have 5 seconds left on the clock or 10 seconds left on the clock, championship on the line, who do you pick, LeBron James or Kobe Bryant? That is quite often the question. And the majority will always say Kobe Bryant. How much they realistically go? They can tell me, hey, they give LeBron the ball. 5 seconds.
Let me tell you why.
Let me shoot the cheap.
Me can tell you why. No, but I don't shock and talk. I've been talking too much today, right? But let me tell you, right? From a killer instinct perspective and personality, people pick Kobe. But if you check the stats, LeBron has done it more.
LeBron has done more.
More clutch shots than Kobe. Check the stats out. He had more clutch shots than Kobe. But in terms of personality, of course, people would say Kobe has this Mamba killer mentality. But LeBron, he does. But I don't think that I don't really care about personality. People talk about Jordan a killer. He gonna knock you 50 and he take on personal. But look at the numbers. LeBron has done everything. Only thing LeBron hasn't done is score 81 points in a game. That's the only thing LeBron hasn't done.
You know, it
Everything else
seems,
Kobe has done, LeBron has done. Everything
it almost
else
seems as though
and more.
you have now turned this more into a Kobe versus LeBron debate when it was never a Kobe versus LeBron debate.
It was me saying you cannot, when it comes to GOAT debate, I put Jordan and I put LeBron. I do not put Kobe in the GOAT debate.
But for me personally,
let me just jump in
personally, LeBron has surpassed Michael Jordan for the GOAT status. The only thing that Michael Jordan has over them is the fact of how many rings he won and the way in which he won them. That's it.
Joe, according to this article,
nothing else.
I haven't done any real research on it. But according to this article, Kobe Bryant has one buzzer beater more than LeBron. I don't really know in depth, but this article is saying that LeBron has 7 buzzer beaters, and Kobe has 8.
Wow,
that has to be a big game buzzer beater thing. It's the only thing that makes sense with that.
It could go worse.
Because
it could go worse.
As people, if we've been watching basketball, you know that stat no make no sense. How long you watch basketball? Me watch Kobe.
Right, but then
put aside the feelings, Joe. You love Kobe too much, and you can't accept the fact that at the end of the day, there is
feelings.
Nothing.
Anybody that knows me that debates basketball with me will tell you that I've always been fair when it came to LeBron James. You know the thing
better than Kobe.
With LeBron that used to turn me off about him. Why I was never really crazy about LeBron James was the fact that oftentimes in big moments he would shy away, and that was my issue with LeBron James.
No, I don't agree with that. I hate when people tell him he shy away. He chose the better shot. If you have Ray Allen in the corner, who is a perennial 3-point shooter and is the final buzzer beater there to take the shot, Kobe will take it. Jordan will take it. LeBron would pass because LeBron knows Ray Allen will make the shot. Why should he be castigized for making the better play?
Yeah, but that's Ray Allen. No, you have your game on the line, right? You give J.R. Smith your ball, whole game, wide open. He missed all of them, right? You need to win the game. You need to win the game. And you're trying to tell me, after you don't pass the ball to J.R. Smith 30 times, and he missed all of them, final shot of the game, you're trying to tell me that you're going to give J.R. Smith the ball again?
LeBron wouldn't do that. LeBron wouldn't do that because LeBron has the highest IQ I've ever seen in the NBA. He wouldn't do that.
Hold on. I found another article, and this is saying heading into the 2019-2020 season, LeBron had taken 231 attempts in the final 60 seconds of a game and connected on 90 of those shots that gave his team the lead or a tie. They go on to say everyone wants to criticize his ability to close, but here there's a few extra numbers to solidify his clutchness. And listen to this. LeBron has made 8 shots to tie or win games in the final 7 seconds, which includes 2 more shots than Michael Jordan. He owns 5 buzzer beaters, which were once the most all time. LeBron is big time in big moments. He also the only player in the league history to average a triple-double in the NBA Finals. Among other moments, LeBron was a closer against great teams like the Big Three, Boston Celtics and Oklahoma City Thunder, the Raptors led by Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, but they couldn't get over the hump, mainly because of LeBron. Even in the finals, his iconic block on Andre Iguodala will forever live in the minds of Cavaliers fans. You don't have to like the guy, but you have to appreciate his greatness. And this one, and I was just before I go down, I'm pretty sure the Kobe Bryant one is coming up. Joe, when we talk about clutchness, we talk about shot making. What about this block from LeBron? Where does that rank in terms of clutchness?
No, it is clutch. Again, if y'all are not paying attention to what I'm saying, again, because for example, we're talking about GOATs, right? Josh said that if we're talking about the GOATs, that Kobe Bryant's name is not mentioned, and then turn this into a whole Kobe versus LeBron debate. When that in itself, that statement in itself is crazy because to this day, Kobe Bryant, when you talk about greatest players of all time, Kobe Bryant's name is still always mentioned. You cannot tell me Kobe Bryant's name is not mentioned. That's
It's
a crazy
mentioned.
statement, bro.
It's
That's a
mentioned.
crazy statement.
I never said he
That's
was
a
not
crazy
mentioned.
statement.
I said two things. I said that you underrated Tim Duncan because I think he's equal to Kobe in terms of.
I did not underrate Tim Duncan
You
because
have.
I did tell you that
You tell me.
for
You
me,
tell.
Tim Duncan is one of my greatest NBA players of all time, and especially based on the fact of where he is from. I did say that. Again, listening to respond, but not to understand. I did say that. I did say that.
But you gave Kobe an edge over Tim Duncan when you brought no evidence to suggest any reason why Kobe has an edge over him. You brought no evidence. You brought none. Just feelings.
Kobe
And on
has
top
edge
of
over
that,
him for sure. Kobe definitely has
what?
edge over him. Okay,
With
here's what.
what?
The same research Shaq just did. Tell Shaq go do the same research for clutch shots, winning shots, and all of that. Kobe Bryant versus Tim Duncan. And who win? Kobe Bryant.
But then you've taken one aspect of the whole aspect of basketball to make that the reason why one is over the other. You asked, when we talked about clutch, then we compared clutch. But you can't compare Kobe Bryant's clutch to Tim Duncan because I could find some other stat for Tim Duncan and compare that to Kobe Bryant, like rebounds. He probably is average more than Kobe Bryant because he played at center and power forward. And make that point to say that I felt you underrating. I felt you underrating him. But I'm making the point that at the end of the day, you cannot put Kobe. You can. But I don't see what you can say to put Kobe in the category of LeBron. Just LeBron. Just LeBron. Then you can talk about Jordan.
Did we get to the comments? Did we go to the comments?
Let's step for the last one. Skill says here Kobe was a better clutch player, the one who makes the most important shots, especially in the game's last minutes, than LeBron. This claim is far from reality. Numbers say otherwise. The numbers just say, for me personally, the numbers say otherwise. I know I talk.
Are we, Joe and Josh? Are you saying, both y'all? Are you saying? Can we agree that you're saying that LeBron is better than Kobe? Y'all are saying two different things there.
I'm saying LeBron is better than Kobe, and so that's why. And because I put Jordan at number one, that means Jordan, then LeBron. That means then the GOAT status is 1 and 2. You don't do GOAT status 1, 2, and 3. For me, it's 1 and 2. Whoever want to put 3, 4, 5, we can have a debate about. But for me, it's LeBron versus Jordan because LeBron is better than Kobe. That's my argument.
Mr. Leandro, what say you?
You see what you say now? So now, all of a sudden, now your GOAT status is 1 and 2. When earlier when we were talking about GOATs and Giannis, you said, "Oh, there is only one GOAT." You have to make up your mind where you want, bro.
No,
the clip is there to prove it. You know, the clip is there to prove it.
Conversation. I made my mind. I said to you that if anybody's going to challenge Jordan for me, it's only LeBron, and you want to put in Kobe. And I'm saying Kobe in this conversation.
Honestly speaking, but I even said that for me, Jordan is out of it. Jordan is only in there because of the amount of rings he had and the way in which he won it. But that's it. That's all it is. That's it.
So why is Kobe here? Joe. No, but same criteria you just said, Joe, for Jordan. Fair enough. How is that any different from Kobe? Kobe's only there because of the rings that he won and the points that he scored. That's exactly what Jordan did. That's exactly what Jordan did.
Pause. I just got back in.
Oh, okay. You
so I missed that part. Sorry.
I was saying, Joe, that the criteria you just gave for Jordan, fair enough. I can agree with you with that. But that same criteria can be used with Kobe. Kobe's only there because of the points he's averaged and the titles he's won. How is that any different from Jordan? Any different? And LeBron, for me, especially near 19, if he does what he's going to probably do this season, I would say he's better than Jordan because he's done it longer. He don't even have to win the titles. He's done it longer and he has better stats overall. That's what I'm trying to say to you. And that's why I say I can't even bring Kobe into this because you haven't given me anything to say that Kobe is better than Jordan. What? Name one thing. Name one thing, bro. Name one thing that Kobe's better than Jordan. Answer the question, bro. Answer the question.
Hold. Let's reverse. Reverse. Because again, you keep trying to twist this and turn this to fit your argument. You say what you have to say, I listen, and then now allow me now to say my thing, right? Now, here is another thing that was always brought up in terms of the argument with LeBron versus, we're going to do now LeBron versus Kobe. Here's another thing that was always brought up with the LeBron versus Kobe. LeBron James, for example, you know how long it took LeBron to get some respect? Because he go and he win a ring, or what they say. He go Miami, he build a super team for win a ring. Me personally, even then when I wasn't a LeBron fan, I was against that because the first super team ever built in the NBA was by the Boston Celtics. Yeah? So I'm not argue with that. So okay, cool. That's a bomb. That's a LeBron. But then they will say LeBron went out there to go build a super team, and that's why he won rings. He won a ring and yada 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 and blah blah blah. Right? Look at the kind of moves that LeBron James was able to influence. Who else would get at that time is because of his status and who he was. He was considered as the best player in the league at the time. He was the man of the league. He was the face of the league. So he was allowed to do certain things. Let's reverse. Let's go back to when Kobe Bryant is the best player in the NBA and Los Angeles Lakers tried to bring in CP3 and then the league blocks it. Kobe Bryant has accomplished more or the same amount for me with less. Honestly, no. He has with less. He has.
I know skill came into you finished, Joe? Because I know skill came into add his piece.
I know you're gonna say that.
Go ahead, skill.
But go ahead, skill. Come in.
Hold on. Good night, fellas. Good night. So, Josh, are you saying that LeBron is better than Kobe? That's what you're saying?
Yep.
Shut up.
I knew you was going to do that. I just knew you were going to say that. I'm sorry, he is. He's better than Kobe.
You serious, man?
He's better than Kobe. Kobe's not in this discussion. I'm sorry. Hey, he's better than Kobe.
You want me to get a joke too? I'm going to give you a little joke. LeBron. MJ. Look at my hand. MJ. Kobe. Durant. Then LeBron. Take it how you want it. Good evening.
Okay. Thanks, kid. Appreciate that, man. Right. Definitely.
You said what you said.
We have to close.
I mean, I feel like this is an ongoing debate.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead, Moy.
Let me just end this debate by saying all this debating between Kobe, Michael Jordan, and all those people was irrelevant. Because there's one good in basketball, and it's me. Me the best basketball to ever great.
That is true. I ain't lying about that.
I personally feel.
I know the truth.
No, but here's when it comes to the arguments as well, though. To even go to a next side of it, I've always found the argument to be pointless.
Joe.
But if the argument come up, me defend my boy. But I've always found the argument to be pointless because these are three players who have played in different positions, played in different eras. Where basketball has evolved and changed. Because, for example, LeBron James, for me personally, would not accomplish what he has accomplished. He would still have been good, but he would not have accomplished what he's accomplished now in MJ's era. I honestly don't think you would. And then some can say if you bring in a prime MJ now into this softer era, of basketball, maybe he would have accomplished more. For
There's
them,
no
But
there's no
this man couldn't
forensic
I would
evidence.
agree with you and
just
say
go
you
all
can't.
around. Really and
I agree
truly.
with you. I agree with you. You
No,
can't
but then
compare the errors. I agree with you with that. You
right,
can't
but
compare
this
the
is what
errors.
I would say. This is what I would say, and I'm also saying that this sounds like we need to have a debate between Josh and Ting, but none of them more. You realize none of them now push up their head. None of them now push
You
up their
see,
head. That's what I'm
No,
Bro,
saying. But
listen, right.
but
Never
what
scared
I
no.
would say,
Never scared no. Listen this live no. Never scared no. Never scared. Never scared.
never scared.
Never
I
scared.
mean, I want to
In a
challenge
in
you
a
to a
in a
Kobe
month.
versus LeBron debate.
We literally just someone had the debate. If Josh wants to
yeah, we
challenge,
did.
then
Yeah,
do things. What did they?
Dings.
hear me. Hear what I'm saying.
Just say.
There's no forensic evidence, guys, to say that LeBron
Uh-huh.
couldn't do it back then and Jordan couldn't do it now.
Yeah,
What I would say, I would ask is, how do you know that LeBron wouldn't have adapted? Just as how we've seen him adapted his game throughout his 19-year career. And I think Jordan could have done the same thing too,
and
to
that's
fit
fair.
what is
That's
needed
fair.
for them to succeed.
Yep.
That's fair. Based
Yeah.
on what Josh said, also, that's fair. Because the one thing I will agree with is that LeBron's IQ, basketball IQ, is elite.
Pay,
Bro,
pay,
this
pay.
man sees things that it's just not, you have to watch it over on the camera to watch the replay to understand and to
Right.
break it down. His IQ is on a
And some
whole nother level. For sure, 100%.
and Joe, some people can see it and they can't execute. LeBron can do both.
Can do both. That's true.
True.
But
You're
for
right.
me
That's a good
though,
point.
I heard the other day there was a debate on what was it? Was it First Take? Where they were saying that LeBron James might secretly be the best point guard of all time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
while it is
yeah.
a good shout, and while it is a good shout, and I understand, bro, for me, I can never put LeBron because as good as LeBron is with his basketball IQ, two people in the NBA as point guards that I think are still extremely underrated is Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo.
Oh
Bro,
yeah. Fair
Rondo
enough.
is a different kind of point guard now.
Yep.
Man out here play basketball with 20 something points and Rondo out there surf with 20 something assists.
That's
Yeah, that man
You're
they're
not wrong. You're not
different
wrong.
kind of something.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong with that one, dude. You're not wrong with that one.
Look, look,
We
look,
have to
y'all. See
close.
Jordan up here. Look,
We have to
Jordan.
close. I thank Joe for his debate there. You know, I respect all the opinions. If anybody thinks otherwise, you can throw it in the chat, guys. Share this video. If you saw me
Facts.
getting really excited from before, right? You know, it was. I actually respect everything Joe said except for the Tim Duncan stuff, though. That would just annoy the heck out of me.
No,
But anyway,
yeah.
and
I
I
think
didn't
Joe was foul on
discredit
that
him.
one. We gonna continue this. Yo,
that one day.
Josh, we start
Anyway.
here next week Friday. Next week Friday, that's
Yes,
where
for
we're going
sure.
to start.
Josh,
Because
I didn't
Joe,
Okay.
discredit
yeah,
Tim Duncan.
I think you're foul. I think you're foul for that
I
one, Joe.
feel like I'm being injustice here. I feel like
No.
it's made to
As you
seem as
say,
though I
watch over the
discredited Tim
video.
Duncan.
Watch over the
you need a
video.
No,
second
Watch over
I
the
know
video.
I know what I said, but
Oh man.
it's
Anyway,
not like I
all right.
discredit. That's why before I said what I said, I started off by saying that Tim Duncan for me is one of my greatest players of all time. That is specifically why I started off by saying that. Understand? To avoid any misperceptions going forward after
But
with
there was too
anything
much of
that
an
I say.
imbalance, bro. You give like a one liner of a 10%, and then just like a 90% of just pure disrespect.
It's not like that. Okay, hold.
No, we done, bro. We done. It's 128.
One
Yeah.
question. This
Oh,
just
God.
think about it for next week
Okay,
Friday. Because I had a debate and we had a discussion. And honestly speaking, it was an iffy question. I couldn't agree, but I couldn't disagree. Somebody said to me the other day that had Allen Iverson had Kobe Bryant's discipline and work rate, he would have been just as good or maybe even better.
Yeah, I agree.
Dan Kobe.
Kobe's,
Than Kobe.
Kobe.
Yeah. And
Kobe
honestly,
said-
as much as I'm a Kobe fan, bro, that
Even Kobe-
hard
even-
to argue against.
Even Kobe said too that put some height on Iverson as well too.
Mhm.
You have a crazy. If I remember your shot now. I think
Yeah.
everybody here thought. Yeah, I remember your shot. Actually, no. I was remember your shot like 5'11". He was 6 feet.
A man come in the league and cross up MG.
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, he lacked a lot of discipline, but he could have
Yeah.
been. I would agree with you with that, definitely. See, we can agree on things, Joe. You know. But anyway, thanks, fans. I know we went more than we usually do. I did not plan to do this. But either way, though, that's what happens on Free on Friday. You get to say exactly what you feel. So for all those who I know will rewatch this after this video is done, tomorrow, the day after, expect a lot more content like this where we talk all types of sports on Friday. If you have your opinions, don't forget to share this video. Jump in next time and let us know what you feel. Thanks, guys, for everything that you said. And it's Friday,
Except
so
Joe.
And ladies,
except
don't be
Joe,
shy.
except Joe,
We'd love to have a female Island fans debate.
we would love that as well too,
Oh, for
definitely.
sure.
And don't forget, EPL games are tomorrow and Sunday, as expected every weekend. So watch those games and come ready on Monday to review them. Have a wonderful night and take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for watching Island Fans. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when there are new videos and updates. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and like us on Facebook. Island Fans, for the passion of the game.